Let's go back in time to 1932 as Converse brings you historic footage of the legendary original Celtics, with whom all great professional teams are compared.
We have now taken over your radio.
Richie Guerin is about to show you the most important step in getting past a man. It's the first one.
And Oscar will inbound it. The men in green, the Milwaukee Bucks, that's Al Cinders against Bellamy.
Has Jordan. Allen shakes. Gray gets two.
Gilmore on
Stop. Oh, brother.
lead. Toledo artists, you get 21.
4:28 to go in the first quarter for the Cow Palace. Here's Barry.
Jordan. Open. Chicago with the lead.
Hello and welcome back to the Over and Back Classic NBA podcast. I am Jason Mann. With me as always is Rich Kraetsch. Rich Kraetsch, back with you.
Absolutely. Let's get going on this top 50.
All right. Yes.
We're almost done.
We are almost done. So next we have...
I don't even like basketball anymore.
Next we have Paul Pierce, who is a 24th all-time in win shares, 62nd in win shares for 48, 40th in box score plus minus, 22nd in value over replacement player, a one-time All-NBA second team, three times on the third team, the 2008 Finals MVP, one season in the top 10 in win shares for 48, 3 seasons in the top 10 in value over replacement player. In the Bill Simmons Book of Basketball Pyramid, he is 47th all-time. In Slam, he is 77th of all time. He is, really one of the best shooting guard small forwards ever. Reputation for hitting big shots in key moments. Great longevity, tough defense, really strong advanced metrics. For him, the weaknesses in his case, I think, are his relatively few All-NBA teams, and really, I don't know if he was ever necessarily considered like a top 5 player. Maybe top 10 player, yes, but top 5 player, I'm not sure if really he ever quite seemed to be. But the longevity is there to kind of carry his case, to a stronger level than the other kind of contemporaries in the kind of the shooting guard small forward area. So it's an interesting case, a pretty strong one, I think. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, it's real strong. And, you mentioned when he was really the best, one of the top 5 or one of the top 10 players or whatever. And a lot of that was in an era, or at least his early part of his career, where I would say, yeah, he probably was legitimately, there, maybe, mid to early 2000s, that 2001 to 2006, or you could kind of make a case for a few of those years that he was there. But the problem was he wasn't winning at that point. He was just sort of, he was on Boston, they were a team that was, routinely disappointing, him and Antoine Walker, all those issues or whatever. And he was sort of looked at as a guy that, he's okay. He scores a lot. He does this sort of stuff. He's a good all-around player, but he's not a winner. He doesn't do stuff that's going to win and all that sort of stuff. And then we look at a whole different career. Obviously, you bring in Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen to the Celtics. He sort of fits perfectly into that, second best player on the team role. In the finals becomes probably their best player, the MVP, award that goes with that as well. Then he just has another 7 or 8 years where he's just a legit, good role player, good second hand, good third hand. It didn't really matter. Basically, any team you put him on, he's going to be at some point a value to that team in a positive way. And that there's a lot of value in that. And there's a lot of, all-time greatness in that as well when you look at it, because you look at, how he ranks in terms of era and position all time. And here's a guy who, despite never, as you said, probably being the best guy or the guy or whatever at any point, really grades out well. I mean, all-time era position, he's 5th in win shares, 19th in win shares per 48, and then 5th in value of replacement player. So that's era and position, sorry, if I didn't say that. And then rates position all-time, 7th in win shares, all-time amongst forwards, which is insane. I wouldn't think of that ever. 40th in win shares per 48, and then 9th in value over replacement player. So that's an all-time great, as you said, shooting guard small forward. I mean, that's of a swingman, you're looking at a top 10 guy, and a lot of those advanced stats and a lot of the stuff he does. So he's got a great case, I think, and it's unique in that sense because, yeah, at age 30, would he? We talked about Carmelo a few episodes ago of a guy who right now we're going, now he's not there or whatever. Paul Pierce is probably the same way. It was that year 30 where he was able to win the championship, but if we stretch it back to age 29, there's no chance we were saying, oh yeah, he's definitely in the top 50. But he's had another decade to add to that resume, and he's still a valuable part of teams. So there's there's some cool value in that. I think he's a slam dunk for sure.
Yeah,
I think he's in.
He's similar to Carter, where we've talked about him before, where he aged well into the role of able to age into the role of a role player and contributed. But I think even more so I think his case is stronger than Carter's. To be honest, maybe you could argue Carter was a little bit better at his peak, but it was close, and and Pierce has been better since then, and just has bigger playoff moments, and the Finals MVP and all that stuff. I think. I think there's a strong case that he's in. I mean, he would be one of the very. I can't say for sure that he's in, but I think there's a good chance that he's in. So
I'm with you. Yeah, I think he, at least from some respect, he needs to be in that final discussion that we have. I mean, he's a guy that we cannot, we couldn't seriously have a top 50 list without at least having him be one of the, either on the list or one of the last guys we bounce out, because he's an all-time great. I mean, there's no other way around it. There's not a whole lot else you can say about him. And I guess that's sort of the definition of Paul Pierce is at the time while you're watching him, you kind of go, yeah, this guy's really good or whatever. And he might not be a guy that's fully appreciated until he's gone in that respect, where, maybe it's 10 years later or, stuff like this, where we're doing this podcast and really looking at his whole career and looking at, the advanced stats and how he ranks, amongst all those other people. He's an all-time great. I mean, there's really just no way around it, and it's interesting because I wouldn't, I don't know if I think of him immediately, or if in 10 years somebody says, hey, who are the best shooting guard and small forwards ever? I feel like I wouldn't say Paul Pierce right away, and I don't know if that's fair or not.
Yeah, I think having the rivalry with LeBron helps a little bit. Being kind of the guy that you think of as one of the the main guys who battled against LeBron in the playoffs, kind of like how Dominique Wilkins is helped a little bit by having those battles with Larry Bird. It's kind of a similar type thing, even though Pierce had more team success than Dominique did. Anything else, Rich?
I think that's it for me. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not much more to talk about Paul Pierce. I don't know. He's Paul Pierce. I don't know. He's just good. You know what I mean? He's kind of, but he's really boring. Yeah. I don't know. He's not, but he is. The
lack of all NBA teams is surprising to me, I guess. And we've talked about before.
I feel like he would have gotten some in those early 2000s. I really do. But yeah, the
Celtics were pretty good then. I mean, they
perennial playoff team.
Didn't they make a conference finals in 2002 or something? Or
did they? I think they did.
Yeah. I very briefly, because that I sort of had a dormant period in basketball where I wasn't really into it, but I had a very brief resurgence, right around then, watching them during the playoffs, and I really liked Pierce. I didn't know they would torment my Hawks so much in the future, or that I didn't know that I would become a Hawks fan in the future either. So, it was
2002. They were able to go to the Eastern Finals. They lost to the Nets 4-2, but they made it a pretty decent series. So yeah,
that was the series where they came back from when they were down 35 or something, and came back in the fourth quarter.
Yes, yeah, that is. Yeah, I'm looking at the series as well. Yeah, decent back and forth series.
Yeah,
and yeah, Pierce played well. He 23 points, 8 rebounds.
Yeah,
not bad. I liked Antoine Walker at 22 and 9.
Yeah, I have a confession maybe that I actually enjoy watching Antoine Walker play basketball.
There's a morbid curiosity to it. I mean, yeah, if you don't like basketball, he's great. In the terms of I always enjoyed him too. I thought he got a lot of crap.
Yeah, but, he deserved a lot of it, but I do like. I don't want to watch a lot of Antoine Walker.
I don't want him on my team. I think that's would be. I don't. I'm glad that he's on other teams that aren't mine, right. Or that he was on other teams that weren't mine.
He was on my team briefly, so.
Yeah. So you know
the 04-05 Hawks that I.
Oh yes, I've heard of them.
I've heard about them. But I feel like it's been too long since we brought them up. But he was on that team. So, and in fact, he was traded back to Boston, in which he netted us a draft pick that went a bunch of places and ended up being Rajon Rondo. So,
to be fair, the Suns gave away that pick too.
They did, yes, yeah. So the Suns got it.
At least you got something out of it.
Yeah, the Suns got it in the Joe Johnson trade. We got Joe Johnson for that pick,
right?
And then eventually the Suns gave it back to Boston. So it was the Lakers pick at some point too. I think it may have originally been the Lakers pick. So
it's my favorite thing in the world is the basketball reference follow this draft pick as it goes out through history. One thing I did notice, unfortunately, I'm glad I will not be going back anytime soon and watching the 2002 Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics in the series shot 38%. So yeah, that's 2002 Eastern Conference basketball for you there. And the red hot New Jersey Nets, they shot 43%.
Kenny Anderson was on that team too, I believe.
Yeah. Was he?
I believe.
Yeah, he was. Oh, there's
he was. Yeah, there's a lot. There were Tony Delk was on that team. There were a lot of 04 Atlanta Hawks on that team. Because Tony Delk, Kenny Anderson, and Antoine Walker all played for the Hawks 2 years later. It's weird that a conference finals team could be on a 13 win
one of the worst teams ever.
Yeah, 2 years later. Basketball is a funny thing. So
these rosters are really bad.
Oh yeah, Joe Johnson was on there too. He was traded in the middle of that year, but he was a rookie that year. I forgot about that. There you go.
This Nets team is just, oh man, I remember this team. It's like, oh, it's fine, it's okay, but it's just like, really, that made the finals?
Yeah,
like Jason Kidd, Kerry Kittles is your second best player. Like that's hard. Kenyon Martin, Keith Van Horn, Lucius Harris, Aaron Williams, Todd McCullough. Like Richard Jefferson hadn't really become like a real good player by that point. Yeah. But
Scott Brady's in that team.
Yeah, he is.
Aaron Williams.
Much.
Yeah. So, good times.
I'm not going to. Let's not do an early 2000s Eastern Conference retrospective podcast anytime.
Okay, I promise you, I will not ask.
Okay, you. I know it was on the list, but can we take it off?
All right, we'll take it off.
Okay, actually, all right,
everyone. You can check us out at hardwoodprocessing.com, and we are part of the HP network. You can find all the podcasts on the network or just our feed. Both of those are on iTunes, and we'd appreciate a rating review on that. That would be awesome. If you like us, it helps other people find us and helps us get more popular, and we are all striving for more popularity. Let's see. We also are on Facebook and Twitter at Over and Back NBA, and we are also have a website, overandbacknba.com, a forum in which you can talk about classic basketball to your heart's content. We encourage you to do so. It's a lot of fun to do. And we also have a NBA history newsletter that we've started. Every week we're going to be sending out the newsletter to those who wish to have it. We're kind of rounding up what's going on in NBA history, interesting articles and podcasts and such. So you can check that out. We have a post on overbacknba.com where you can find all of the information for that. So until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll be back again soon.